Okay, somebody asked me how does the 90% day look like. But note that this is the 90% day, but note that I am mixing ballistic training, dynamic ballistic training, and this isometric training on this day. So basically I'm doing 3 different cycles, and in each of which there is 15 to 16 sets. All right, in each 3 cycle. And first cycle, like the cycles are for the isometrics, but during that cycle, I will go over the ballistic dynamic, meaning that in the first cycle, the first 6 sets are cycle between the wrist and the pronation and the shoulder press. Shoulder press being dynamic ballistic, and that's the 6 first sets. Then the next 8 sets is the incline, ballistic incline bench, and the continuation of the wrist curling and the pronation. All right. So, and then there is one extra set of isometrics to get to 16. All right. So, and I am behind me is the shoulder press setup. So how the ballistic shoulder press in my case looks like is I just hit the bar to the pins. And these are here so that this thing is heavier. And it might look like weird, but like it would be easier to do if I would have a Smith machine. I wouldn't have to have the stop because I could just beat the bar up without needing to worry about the stopping of it. But since I have free weights, I like the pin stop the bar so that I don't have to worry about needing to slow it down. I can just explode the bar as fast as possible up. And I have a little notes where it was the previous max was. And the previous isometric, not max, but what I was previously doing with in this 90% isometric day. And the previous weight for the wrist curl was 56 kilograms. Hold it like this. So now I will start it from the 55 and then I will add a little bit more and more and more. Because remember that the heavy day, the range was 80% to 100%. So even though you would start a little bit lower, you are still doing weights which go between the 80% or 100. You know, the warm-ups are not wasted, even though they wouldn't be as heavy. All right. So this is how the ballistic shoulder press looks like. Like so. The objective there is to break that shit. And then I will start it from the 55 kilos and just hold it like this, wrist straight. All right. And I hold it for 6 seconds. And that felt extremely light. So I think I will today go up to 57.5. And let's see what the pronation was last time. So pronation was last time 70. All right. So 70. I will just start from 17.5. All right. So this is now half kilos more than what it was last time. The objective is to keep this angle. If it is this, then it fails. There. There. So it was light also. I think I will put a little bit more. And next time I will put 1 kilo more and then go to 57.5. So this was these 3 movements are one circle in this session, and one is moved. One washer there. Then I have 6 washers there. Then I change to the incline bench from that, but this stays the same. All right. And I usually have breaks in this, meaning I do 3 cycles, take a break, 3 cycles, then a break. All right. And I think I will put half kilo more on this. So now it's 80. There. And this goes the same thing for, so that there is 6 sets. Now there is just 2. So we come back when I'm done with the 6 sets. I know what you're probably thinking. The old fart head probably holds the dumbbell all over the place so that it is easier. So better view what is happening here. Wrist straight and holding the dumbbell so that the forearm is parallel to the floor. That's the objective. So I added 1 kilo more. So now we are in about, are we now 58 and a half. So you can now see what is happening, maybe a little bit better. And this is still easy weight. I think I could easily go to 60 kilo. Okay, now I have done 7 cycles of this. I did 1 extra for that shoulder press. And now I have changed it so that it is incline bench and I have added a little bit more weight. So in the dynamic ballistic training I'm doing, I'm using 50% of the 1 repetition maximum. And it's actually a little bit lower than that because I don't do 1 repetition maximums. I do 3 repetition maximums to 5 repetition maximums in my max day, which is the test day, which follows the high intensity training model. So from that day, I take the ballistic weight. And it's half of what my 3 repetition maximum is. You just explode with it. All right, and then I went to 60 kilos because it was too light. So 60 kilos now on that thing. So now I have done 7 cycles and there is 9 cycles to go. And the rest of the cycles, the 9, is paired with the incline bench ballistics. And these same two, pronation and wrist curl isometrics. All right. And again, with this, the objective is break this shit. Like, this is not plyometrics or anything like that. The stop is just there so that I can explode it all the way without needing to be afraid that I lose control of the bar or anything else. Because I know it will stop to this, I can just explode it all the way. And this does work. This will increase your strength. When you pair your normal training with this. Alright, and then 60 kilos on that shit. Like, a little while ago I was thinking like, let's not do this, but it was actually way too easy, the weights I was doing with the 58. So, to put things into perspective here, last time I was doing this with 56 kilos. And in 4 days, I'm now doing it with 60 kilos. So 4 kilo addition. Like, notice that I'm not selling you any kind of strength training programs here. If I would be financially minded man, this would be paid content. But here it is free. So I don't care, do you believe it on me or not. Either way, I'm poor. But this is now 60 kilos. I could have hold it there forever. But let's be, like, you have to little bit put brakes on yourself so that, because the objective here is not to fail. You don't want to fail anything, because failure means eccentrics, and eccentrics means longer recovery time. And because tomorrow is another upper hand protocol day, so you need to recover from this shit in for tomorrow. So you have to a little bit be cautious what you do here. All right. And why do I hold it 6 seconds? Why 6 seconds? Because if you remember that isometric strength training playlist shit and the science video, the study in which they got the best strength results, hold it 6 seconds. I know that the review recommended 1 to 5, but I have found that I like to do it 6 seconds. You know? And that's the logic why. Because the study where the best strength results were, hold it 6 seconds. Meaning the study in which there was the best strength and hypertrophy. Hold it 6 seconds. Okay, then this one. This is still 18 kilos. Like, I think, like I have to be pretty cautious with this one because this will turn into eccentric pretty easy. Like, if I cannot hold it, this will cause my arm to pronate or supinate, palm up. So, I am a little bit cautious with this one, not to add too much weight. But I am already 1 kilo more than 4 days ago. Meaning, like, consider that I had just 28 kilos. In last session, I had 27 kilos. Like, because the weights are so small, 1 kilogram increment is pretty big percentage increment, all right? I'm not saying this is the perfect pronation exercise, but it is pretty good. And if you don't have a handle like this, like, you can also do this with just a 2x4 and a trap. I can show it at the end of the video. But now, with this whole thing continues for the 8 cycles, meaning the incline bench, ballistic, this and this. So at the end of the day, there has been then 16 of these isometrics, 8 of those incline benches, ballistic, and 7 of those shoulder presses, ballistic. All right? I will come back when I have done these 8 cycles. Couple more things. With that thing, if it feels like something is wrong or your wrist is gonna explode, don't go up in the weight. You have to condition also your wrist to be handled that weight. Like I had to take a little bit of time to let my wrist get used to the 50 kilos, holding it like this. Like it felt like my wrist is gonna explode. So I had to take a little bit of time to just let the wrist and ligaments get used to that weight. So don't push it, otherwise you are gonna injure yourself and then that's the end of the progress. All right, and then another thing. While you do this shit, you obviously are eating. I'm eating macaroni and milk. Macaroni and milk. And somebody was saying that 1.6 grams of protein per pound of body weight is enough. Well, if that is enough for you, then it's enough for you. Like, notice here that we are not doing a bodybuilding training once a week. We are training every day. And there is 16 sets of that heavy ass isometrics on top of that ballistic. And there is 3 times 16 sets in total. And you are training every day. So you consider the recovery from just eating the bare minimal of what you think is adequate. You know, not that those estimations are made for the general public. People who started training or something and once a week did a session and went home. Probably for them, 1.6 is enough. But if you are training every day, strength training, you know, your requirement will be different. So for me, the 1.6 is the bare minimum in a rest day. Meaning if you have done something on that day, you're gonna eat more. And because you are doing all this shit every day, you eat more every day. You know? So what I eat, macaroni and milk. And again, my milk product is the buttermilk, fermented buttermilk. I like it, not saying it is the absolute superior product out there. Just that's what I eat or drink during this shit. So because if you do this fasted, you will go to a catabolic state and then your body will need carbohydrates. It will start breaking down muscle to get the amino acids to build glucose for you to keep doing this if you do this fasted. And the same thing goes to the fucking max training session, the test day. You eat during that shit so that you don't become catabolic in the training. All right. So, last washer, meaning first cycle done. Then next cycle. First movement is the ballistic row. And I'm using a disadvantaging pulley. And there is a chain weight so that it doesn't break my floor. When the chain goes to down, like there is 15 kilos, but since it's disadvantaging me, it's actually 30 kilos. But now there is double the inertia. So good for ballistic training. All right, that's that. And then riser and the stick handle. And last time I was doing 25 kilos, but I know my riser isn't that strong, but it is getting stronger. with this protocol. So this is just now 22.5. Should be easy, but again, little easier set at the very beginning. All right. And again, since I'm holding it 6 seconds, it's not max. You know, the 25 is not a max. I'm holding it 5 seconds. All right. And then the stick handle. Like I know 52.5 ain't a lot of weight. But again, I want it to be strict. You know, if I would go very high, it would start to open the fingers a little bit. I don't want there to be an eccentric in it. So that was light and that was light. So in the next cycle, like I will do 3 cycles now and let's see what weights I have then ended up with. Okay, so I have decided to go to 27.5 kilos. And in this, I never count the loading pin into the weight because there is always the loading pin, so who cares? I just count the weights. So note that this is 2.5 kilo addition to the last time, which was 4 days ago. And so let's do this. And then, so that's okay weight. So 2.5 kilos in 4 days more. Then that one, last time I think I was in 55. So this is now 57.5. So again, 2.5 kilos more in 4 days. All right. And obviously this is nowhere near my max. I just want it to be like somewhat clean and that I need to be able to hold it also that 6 seconds. So I think I will stick to these weights. So I will continue this cycle of doing this and the ballistic movement, which will be ballistic row, ballistic lat pull down, and again same amount of total cycles than in the previous. And note here one thing, that there is a reason why the wrist curl and the riser are in a different cycles. The reason being that note that the wrist curl targets the one muscle which is here high in the hand, near the thumb, which does the wrist flexion. But that same muscle is also involved in the radial deviation. So basically, that muscle is doing work in the wrist curl and in the riser movement. So that's why I have them in the different sessions, so that it wouldn't be just now it's doing and then it's doing again. You know, it can have more rest. Okay, so now this cycle continues. Okay, so this was the setup for the ballistic row. As you can see, it's now disadvantaging me due to this setup. And these, you should know where these are from. Metal Recycling Center, scrapyard. They had huge pile of these. They are there when the weight goes up, it will hit these and not damage this wooden thing. So now I will change it to 1-to-1 pulley from this, because due to the structure this doesn't work well when I do the lat pull down thing. Otherwise I would use it also for the lat pull down. But since I cannot fit it there with the lat pull down, I need to change it. Okay, so I did 6 cycles with the ballistic row and this one, riser and the thick handle. And now I move to the ballistic lat pull down, and I do it also 6 cycles together with these. And then I will do without any ballistic work the rest of the cycles. So I get to the whatever the amount of washers there are. You know? So this is how the ballistic lat pull down goes. As you can see, I have this handle, this neutral grip handle. All right. And I'm not doing a narrow, because I will do my side pressure and back pressure, meaning the bucket pull variation after this, isometrically. So I'm not trying to train the side pressure together with the lats. All right, so this is how this goes. Explode as fast as possible. All right, so that was the ballistic lat pull down, you know, and weight is about 50% of what I use in the max day, you know, and it's calculated from the total weight on the chin-ups, you know. So taking your body mass into account and the added weight, that's half of that. All right, and the ballistic work is done like that. And then these and the cycle continues. All right. Okay, so last cycle. So in this cycle I will do the pocket pull and the thumb together and back and forth. But here I will do the pocket pull with this setup. Like in the previous video when I was talking about the upper hang, I was just pulling the rubber band. But now I came up with the method how I can quantify that rubber band resistance. And it happens with this. So there is just a pulley wheel on the wall. And when the rubber band resistance reaches the force, which is enough to lift that weight, then I know that now I have reached this amount of force on the rubber band. So starting for 30 kilos, since I don't actually know how much I can do with the rubber band, since I haven't quantified it yet. This is the first time. So starting just with the 30 kilos there. Let's see how this goes. And again, this is the pocket pull, meaning humerus is about 135 to this. And the forearm is kept perpendicular to this, 90 degrees here, so that it is the hardest. All right. So actually I was pulling it kind of far, since like I need another rubber band so that it doesn't go so far, but let's continue with the 30 kilos. All right, seems to work good. And then thumb. The thumb, I have this apparatus, and I will in the future make it better. I will get one of those pinch handles when I next time visit the metal distribution center where they sell nice things. So this is what I got last time also. So let's see, is this light? Okay, this is extremely light. All right, I think I add weight to that. But this cycle now continues between that and this. And then I also like to do like like I have this kind of little pulley setup here. So I do this kind of motion. The idea here is that it is rear shoulders together with the rotator cuff. This outside rotation. So I just do it for health reasons. All right, so it's not totally like this, but there is the rotation also. All right, so this three, the pocket pull, pinch, and this cycle now continues for the another set of those same measures. All right. Okay, I improved it a little bit, so now it's like this. I added this pulley wheel here, so now the weights, I can have a loading pin there, and the weights don't touch the wall when I pull this. This kind of simple pulley. All right, so, and this is usually how my workouts go. I work out and then I figure out something and I improve my home gym at the same time I'm working out. And why this rubber band is here, you might be wondering. Why don't I just put a handle there? Well, the rubber band is supposed to observe the jerking from the one-to-one pulley, because in the pocket pull there is the side pressure element. So it's there to take the jerking away from the ligaments, so that the side pressure element in the pocket pull, it would be safer, you know. So I added 5 kilos to the 30 kilo, so now it's 35. and I just keep getting up and up. Note that this is the first time I'm doing this variation, meaning yes, I have pulled the rubber band, but not with the weight stack. So I'm taking it kind of easy. So that's what it looked like with the 35. Unfortunately, I cannot get it the whole thing in the tape since the weight stack is there and I'm pulling it there. So it's either you're gonna see the weight stack or me, you know. But anyways, this will continue this one, the thumb and the external rotation combined with the real delt. That will continue, and in total all the washers are spent. And there are 16 washers, alright? So 16 of these. And if you are wondering how the pinch grip is improving, I did add 2.5 kilos to the previous weight. Alright? The previous weight was 10, 20, 25. The previous weight was 25 kilos and now it's 27 and a half. Alright? So this I added. And pinch grip is evolving with the same rate. Everything else is evolving. And I remember last time the 25 kilos was actually hard. Like it was reaching. Can I do it? I guess the left arm hand is a little bit bigger than the right one. But yeah, but still, it can also do 2.5 kilos more than the last time. So the pinch is also evolving. Good.